Hello and welcome to Pat Baer's Anime Club, an ongoing video series where every other Monday I put out a new video taking a look at something from the world of anime that I want to chat with you about. It could be a deep dive on a particular topic, or maybe a subgenre, or a review of the current anime season, or preview of the next season, or lately I've been talking a little bit about manga and also manhwa, the South Korean comic, and we're not done with that. There'll be more videos about South Korea and their comic scene in 2023. I'm just doing a lot more research about it right now because I want to be a bit more in depth. Last year, I put out a video where I gave out awards. This is not, like a big fancy award show. These are like my personal awards for some shows that and moments that I feel like maybe got overlooked. Or maybe I'm just speaking to the people that totally agree with everything I'm about to say. I decided to do that again. So this is my 2022 Anime Awards. That's right, I'm doing the Anime Awards the same year they come out. I don't wait till the next year, like a certain channel of streaming that is going to actually do an event next year, and I'll cover it. There'll be a special Pat Bear's Anime Club that will be like outside the normal release schedule, like looking at the awards because the voting window for people is short. So look for that next year, which is soon, actually. Anyway, our first category, there's not many categories here. We'll get through this pretty quick, friends. And maybe I will talk about a show that you hadn't even heard of. So let's get into it. Best Initial D reference. Initial D, the seminal work of street racing, mountain street racing to be specific, that did not necessarily launch a subgenre. There are some other car racing anime, but really it's just one of those shows that it was like the music and the vibe and the small use of digital and CG animation along with traditional animation that really drew people in, and it became one of those anime that sticks with people who then went on to make anime. So I actually didn't know if I was going to be able to give out this award last year. Certainly did, and it was earlier in the year. This year, right here in the fall season, luckily there was a show, and that show is Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out Season 2. Now, there could be another anime this year that had an Initial D reference. I don't know. This is the one that happened in a show that I watch and enjoy. To describe the scene, basically, Uzaki Hana, who is there with the T-shirt in the front there, her family was driving down the road, a mountain road, going to a resort. A real resort, because that episode was paid by that resort. It's a whole fucking thing with Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Maybe someday I'll do a video on obvious product placement and clearly paid for by a company episodes of anime. I'm going to write that down, actually, as a thing I'd like to do in the future, because this show has two examples and there are plenty of other ones. But anyway, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Uzaki and her family are driving. Her dad is mad because he knows that his college-age daughter has a male friend, and they spend a lot of time together, and everyone assumes they're dating. And he gets really mad, and the anger as he's driving, the aura presents himself to someone in a 86, which I actually have back there, over there, the 86, driving on a mountain road. And so it's this whole thing of him speeding up and the car coming, and it's just this whole little reference to Initial D. If you're driving on a mountain road, you gotta drift. It's not required in anime, but if you don't, I'll think a little less of you as a product. Okay, so let's move on to our other award. Congratulations to Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out Season 2 for including Initial D reference. Good on you. Best show I didn't like. This is different from best show I won't watch. That was a category I did last year, and 2 Year Eternity won. And I guess 2 Year Eternity Season 2 or Part 2 could have won that again, but I didn't do that award. This year, I've modified it to Best Show I Didn't Like. This is a show that I started watching. I watched at least some of, if not all of, and I just didn't get it. I didn't just enjoy it. But other people were like, this is my show of the year, or this is the anime I'm telling people to watch from this season, or whatever. And we'll just get into that, and I'll kind of explain it a little bit more. Birdie Wing, Golf Girl Story. It's set up like it's supposed to be a sports anime. It's a battle anime. that's queer as hell with incredible character work and the art lovingly detailed, and it's got a lot going for it, and they spent a lot of effort on the characters and the story, and it's bonkers and fun. And about episode 4, I was like, oh, this is a chore. And then by episode 7, where I left off, I knew I didn't want to keep watching it. And maybe I'll go back to it someday and finish it off. But I know that this will be on some people's lists, and this will probably be the anime not on my top 10 list, which is coming out soon-ish. I'll tell you more later about that. That it won't be on my list, and I bet some people will be like, well, Pat, you always like talk about like these like sports shows that aren't that are atypical that you're more interested in, and of course female-led stuff and queer shows, subtext or not, and that's all true. That's why I went into this show going, well, I don't know about sports anime, but oh well, is this a battle anime? Is this a nonsense anime? All the pieces are there, but put together, it just doesn't work for me. And I wish it did. I wish I really liked this show, and I don't. And so that's why it won the award. It is the best show that I didn't like. I mean, I don't want to apologize for my opinions. I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe me talking about why I didn't like it is enough for you to go in. Because the real answer is, I'm not sure why I don't like it. It just didn't hit me right. Didn't vibe right. Worst looking show of the year. This one's like, look, I rag, and if you watch my videos, you watch my streams where I'm talking about the anime that I'm watching, you know I don't love CGI animation, the current batch of CGI animation in anime. I don't like it because it is a shortcut in digital animation, which is looking to try to mimic traditional animation. There are some pure CGI shows that I actually think are interesting, and I'm in favor of them. It's the efforts of like, well, having a bunch of soldiers in the scene would take a really long time. So we're just going to make them out of CGI. We're just going to put them in CGI and we'll just insert them in the scene, even though it's digital backgrounds and it won't look good. Or, well, we don't have the budget for a monster on this show, so we're going to use another studio. It's often another studio doing the work, and then we'll insert that there. It's blended, it's terrible, and it's obvious. So that's this show. It's called Rusted Armors, and it's bad. It's very bad. It just looks bad. It's tough to watch. I watched a whole episode. I jumped to episode 2 because the opening looked bad. And I was like, I mean, you can see it right here, right? You got your digital background. You got a bunch of CGI characters there. They're all CGI so they can interact with one another, but the backdrops aren't CGI, and it doesn't mesh well. Look, I've got video evidence. Here's some video. I mean, just like, this was on Crunchyroll. I just want to point out this was an official release that aired on television in Japan and is available on Crunchyroll in the United States. Other countries, I'm sure, as well. And it's just like, it's just what's like the way the mouth moves. Like some moments, there are moments where you're like, oh, that actually looks kind of cool. Like, oh, that pose there. But like, and maybe it's the direction of like just lots of long pauses, and we don't see that all the time. The smoke that just moved across there that is clearly added and is definitely like a default easy thing that no one worked on. Someone else worked on at some point that they just added on. You'll see a lot of smoke in bad CGI animation to cover up what you're looking at. It's just atrocious looking. I am sure there might be a worse animated project out there, but it didn't get a big release. So we'll just say there. I cannot imagine, and you see, I will just say that somebody put this up on YouTube, and I just screen capped the YouTube version. Now, I went back to the Crunchyroll version as well, and it's the same. This is the same. This is not them doing anything. No one made this look this bad other than the people that made this anime. Oh, it's bad. We're going to look away. I can't anymore. just for me, the Just For Me award is an award that I give out to the anime that I don't think I can convince you to watch, but I really liked. And that anime is Teppen Laughing Till You Cry. Look, a slice of life about girls that want to pursue stand-up comedy. A particular style of stand-up comedy in this case of like duo comedy, or in this trios, but it's traditionally duos, of this kind of like vaudevillian style of person setting up a premise and then people reacting, and this lovely style of comedy that's very Japanese, that there's a slice of life about a bunch of girls, and it's really funny and weird, and it's like a competition thing, but it's mostly about the characters interacting, and it's like it started as a YouTube project of 3 voice actresses that worked together doing this act, and then it became its own anime, and there's a manga that followed the anime, and it's like really fun and silly and full of puns and references. I had to like look up and be like, oh, okay, this is a reference to the part of Japan these girls are from. That's what this is. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, this is easy. They're young YY. All their names start with Y. Okay. Or W, actually, because it's YY. Okay. I get this now. All right. Okay. We'll go in here. I'll figure this out. Wait, what's happening with what? Why? What? One of them's an alien? What's happening? And it's just like weird and great and funny. And the premise, the ongoing premise of, or the setup, I should say, of each episode is 3 of the girls starting to tell a joke on stage, and then the joke, the bit is based on something that recently happened to them, and then we see what happened to them, and then it ends with them on stage, like wrapping it up. Not every single episode like that, but most episodes that is the setup for it, is so smart and great because you only get the funny parts of the joke, and then you get to see all of the craft. Now, do I wish this was more detailed about it, less of a slice of life, more of a like dissection of comedy? Yeah, but it doesn't need to do that. Good anime is good. Good anime should hopefully make you go, I want to learn more about that, and you can look it up. Or perhaps even you will see this show and you will be like, I want to try comedy. Like maybe there are young people in Japan that watch this show that are like, I want to start a group. Me and my friends, we can tell some jokes. Like, I don't know, that's beautiful to me. And I understand why. Saying that it is a slice of life about like a weird bunch of girls trying to win a competition in stand-up comedy might not be appealing to you. The second episode didn't air originally in its original broadcast. It aired at a later date because the plot revolved around an assassination attempt, or they believed that someone was going to assassinate a public figure, and it happened right after a real-life event that they wanted to distance themselves from. And that's the only reason a lot of people know about Teppen Laughing Till You Cry, a show I really liked, and I understand if that's not enough for you. I get it. Okay, this is the anime most obviously adapted from a light novel. This is when you see the name of this anime, you will go, this definitely came from a light novel. There's no way this was a manga idea or an original anime because of the title, specifically maybe the length or the description. And the winner is Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout. It tells you what it is. Now, could it go farther? And tell you that there's like multiple people reincarnated that in this Isekai? I mean, maybe, but okay. You got a guy, now it's a knockout, okay. There's this, that happens, okay. Cool. I know what this kind of shows. I know what type of Isekai this is. I know this is an Isekai. You get it. Actually, this tied. I could not decide between this and the other one, so I went with both. And both are definitely based on light novels from the title alone, and also really long, and also isekais, because the other one is my isekai life. I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. The only part that is not included in this that maybe would be helpful for you, I had to make the image so small because of this text, is that the first class is Monster Tamer. Look, this anime is great. I really enjoyed it. It's my favorite isekai of the year. You got a lot of cute friends that are slimes, and everyone's got a fun personality, and the main character is just like a little bit like maybe a little milquetoast, and that he just like lets things wash over him, but then there's a justification for it that I actually think is pretty good. But if you saw this, because I'll explain this to you right now, if you're like, why are light novel titles like this? It is so, as you are scrolling through hundreds of new releases of light novels or web novels online, or physical releases in a store, and you are just looking at what the title is, you will know if you want to pick this up or not. Because it's my isekai life. I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. And you go, my isekai life, great. My life in a different world, strongest sage in the world, got it. Okay, I want to read that, or I don't want to read that. Because if you see the name Bleach, you wouldn't know what that's about. That's the whole reason. Best show of the year. Okay, now, folks, I'm finally going to tell you my best show of the year, my top 10 list. Here we go. Let's get into it. No, actually, that'll be out in 2 videos from now. January 16th, Monday, January 16th, I'll release that. There will be, in the show description, there will be a link to the co-host page. I'm on co-host, where I'll have a written top 10 list, but the video version that and the written list will be released on January 16th. I am not doing this as a part of a website or anything. This is just on my own. Obviously, my co-host page. January 16th, that video will go live with my top 10. I am waiting on that because I want to know how seasons end here, or shows end in this current season, I should say. The fall 2020 season is not over yet at the time of this recording, and I want to wait because some of those shows are in my top 10, or maybe will be in my top 10, or slide out of it depending on how they wrap up. So I want to give that more time. That could have been this video, could have been my top 10, but I'm waiting on it. Now that's video 88. This is 86. 87 is actually going to be recorded live on December 27th. That's a Tuesday night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, running probably 2 hours, if not more. Pat Baer's Anime Club 87, the fall wrap-up / winter preview. I will tell you my thoughts. There's at least one show, Witch from Mercury, I believe, will not be done until January. But I will be able to talk about, the shows I was watching and how I feel about them. And then I will be able to preview the next season. I know right now, lots of romantic comedies and lots of isekai next season. That's what we're getting. So I'm going to be busy because I like both those. But that is going to do it for my 2022 Anime Awards. Let me know. Do you have a light novel, clearly an anime based on a light novel title that you think beats those other two? Was there another anime that had initial D reference? What were some videos you'd like to see me cover next year? What is the best anime you didn't like? And also, I don't know, what's a show that you're like, Pat, I'm never going to convince you to watch this show. Is it Pretty Wing? But I loved it. What's the one that's just for you? Let me know in the comments below if you have ideas for future videos, even though I know what my next 2 are. And then also, I guess at some point, I am going to do obvious product placement and sponsorship in anime, the video. That's coming up at some point. Thanks so much for watching this and checking out Pat Baer's Anime Club. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.